So if you are scaling with retail partners already and you kind of want to leverage that business a bit more, this is kind of a super valuable way for you to not only work with those retailers, but like I said, think about your direct-to-consumer business as well, because it's all about how you kind of let the customer decide where do they want to be purchasing your brand from. And quite often, if you are with retail partners, you will then, if people have seen you there, if they've purchased from you, they will organically go and follow you on social media. They'll start engaging with you. So this is a really great way for you to start building your direct-to-consumer business as well, much more organically than just focusing on retail partners. And again, I was chatting to somebody this morning and they were like, well, I've been looking at it quite separately. I hadn't thought of incorporating the two, or kind of how I talk about, I suppose, one element of my business on one platform and potentially with another partner talk about it and vice versa, and how you integrate those events as well. And that is a super, super important thing to be thinking about. This isn't about D2C and retailers. It's a bit like when you have physical retail and digital retail and you have Omni-Channel. This is, again, merging all your different channels and just thinking about the customer. Always put the customer at the core of your decisions. And I think having worked at somewhere like Selfridges, and it was such an incredible place to work with it, they always are thinking about the customer. It's such a great, great shopping experience from that point of view. So it's kind of ingrained in with me, but it can be very hard when you're kind of running a business, kind of when you're leading a team. You can kind of get sucked into that day to day, and actually sometimes you make some decisions that might not be the best thing for the customer. So some tips today on scaling with retail partners. This is the number one thing. Do not contact a buyer on a Monday. I think I see people and they're trading with retailers already, and they get frustrated that maybe they're not getting enough airtime with the buyers. So ultimately, the buyer is commercial focused. Every Monday, it's trade meetings back to back. So do not contact them on a Monday. You just will not get cut through, and it's kind of a very quick but important one. It's also understanding that buyer's remit as well. It's helping them do their job. So the buyer's remit, like I said, it's creative, it's commercial, but sometimes they're looking after between 30 and 100 to 150 brands. So just to have meetings with their existing brands twice a year, plus trading the business, plus working with a lot of internal stakeholders, this can be a real challenge for them from a capacity and time point of view. It's a very chaotic role. When I was head of buying, I was looking at after 400 brands. I had a very small team of 4 people. So yeah, I look back now and I was like, wow, I was crazy, crazy to do that. But as a result, they don't have much time. So if you do have communication with them, make sure it's really kind of clear, it's short, it's succinct, and help them do their job. So what are their KPIs? What are their objectives? And ultimately, they want to be creating a great customer experience. They want to kind of get more customers coming to them. So again, that's where you have the opportunity with your direct-to-consumer businesses, is how can you talk about those retailers, for example, or activity that you're doing where you're stocked, that you could potentially be driving traffic, driving interest to those retailers. And then I hear a lot of people saying, yes, but I get a better margin on my direct-to-consumer business. But if you're not working to trade the business with those retailers, you might not continue to succeed with those retailers. It might kind of be a short period of time you're stocked with them. They need to be seeing growth. So it's absolutely about how you can kind of leverage things each way. And like I said, you will organically start to see things when you're stocked with retailers, kind of that big push and growth that comes to your D2C business as well, which is what I see with a lot of my clients that are that fast growth D2C. So ultimately, keep your communication really constructive, really proactive, and just be really short and sweet. So like I said, it's going to them saying, hey, this is what I think we could do. I would like a meeting, but this is what I want to talk about. Here's an agenda. A lot of people just say, I want a meeting every month for the sake of it. It's like people just don't have time for that with their capacity. The teams are very lean, which is quite consistent across most retailers. I still don't understand why these teams aren't bigger, but I suppose they work hard. And kind of get the results. So really think about how, when you do communicate with them, that it's kind of very, very clear, giving them very quick updates. Don't always expect a response, and really go to them with new ideas as well. So again, this is really thinking creatively. Look at what's happening with that retailer already, what they're doing well with other brands. Is there anything else that you could kind of get inspiration from, potentially replicate, see if there was an opportunity for you to do that with them. So really start to think about kind of how you can can craft that. So I suppose my next tip is really keeping up with industry news and insights. Again, I suppose I talked about this a little bit at the beginning as well. It's what is happening with retailers. Retailers generally will be marketing and PRing their own kind of marketing campaigns, their own activities. They don't have the capacity to market and PR every single brand. So it's really, really important that you're kind of keeping up to date with what's happening, because actually this can again really help your communication. This can really, really help you kind of be proactive with with what's happening with them. If you want to be pitching to new people as well, you can see how they're trading. So really make sure that you're keeping up to what's going on. Like you saw with those headlines at the beginning, it's kind of using some of your knowledge to really understand and navigate what the truth is, because we can read some of this mainstream media headlines. There's a lot of scaremongering out there, but actually if you start reading the trade press, keeping up to date with what's going on, you can start to really navigate and understand where your opportunities are, not only with retailers but also kind of with those trends that are happening in the industry. Like I said, I talk a lot about this. I've got an event coming up in 3 weeks where I'm talking about retail and consumer trends. So there's a couple of tickets left if anybody would like to join me. But it is so important, because the buyer just so appreciates when people know what they're doing. They want the people that, and actually when you first meet with them, if they think this person knows what they're talking about, they're going to know how to trade the business. That's actually going to give them the buyer the encouragement that actually maybe I will stock this brand. Because if it's somebody that they feel from a character point of view it's going to be quite hard to work with, again they know that's going to be a huge time drain for them. So unless your brand is super hot and on fire, that could be kind of a bit of a deterrent for them. So that's kind of my kind of overarching themes for today, and I suppose to summarise, I think D2C is just as important as retail. Obviously my experience and background is a lot with retailers, but I work a lot with high growth D2C brands as well, and the market is massively shifting. So how can you be discovered in multiple different touch points? So there's kind of a phrase called the marketing rule of 7, which people need to see your brand at least 7 times before they even start to remember or take action on your brand. So if that's the case, this isn't about posting 7 posts on Instagram. That's about how can you be seen in 7 different places, which will start to kind of build your customer engagement. It will start to build that customer interest. So really start to think about all the different places people could be discovering you, and also thinking about your sales funnel as well. So your customer journey is there's that building brand awareness, there's getting people interested, and then there's all of that kind of touch points before people get to that purchase stage. And then it's all about how you retain those people. How do you get them coming back for more? And this is then where you're kind of trying to make it as easy as possible for them, and where they can purchase your brand from. So whether that is a retailer, whether that is your social media shopping, whether that is your website, and what is the type of product and the type of customer, and where they would expect to find your type of brand.